So I was presenting myself. I'm the head of the immigration department at Caiado Guerreiro. Most of you already know me, are our clients or had meetings with me. We have my colleague Lauro Drummond, who is facing still some technical issues, so he will be presenting himself shortly. So first of all, thank you for waiting and for your patience through this rough start. I would like to thank you all and all our clients who join us today for the trust that you have placed in our firm. We are doing our best to stay on top of the developments, which, as you can imagine, these past days have been crazy. And it's very, very challenging for us to keep up with all the changes that are being processed, but it is what it is, and we need to do the best with what we have. I know challenges are difficult to process, but we are here to help you all the way. Anything you need, just let us know. Of course, we can do only so much, but still, any doubt that you have, please don't hesitate in reaching out. I do my best to answer all your emails timely, so reach out to me or to one of my colleagues, and we will do our best to answer all your questions. But still, starting with some good news. Since yesterday, we received almost 100 new appointments from pending processes on golden visa applications. So these appointments were granted to clients that were already submitted, and we are receiving some of the clients that were submitted this year. So finally, things started moving, and within all this information that it's not so great, we can now say that things are moving along, and if this keeps up as is, they will be able to process the processes in 6 months, like they promised, instead of 3 years that it's taking now. So this gives us, of course, some confidence and some hope, and will allow us to work and to keep the program flowing. This is very important to us, to our clients, and of course to the country that needs to attract new investors. So initially, when I thought about this session, we were only discussing the immigration law, because this was the only law that was already passed and is in force right now. But of course, I know all of you are very eager to know what changes are on the citizenship program as well. So even though nothing was still approved, well, it's approved but not in force, and changes can still be added, but still we are going to share what we know, and we will cover both citizenship and immigration law. I will start by the changes at the immigration law. So, because this is the one that is already in force, as you will learn, most of the significant changes about this law will not affect golden visa holders. So you are mostly protected from all these amendments, but still, it's good so you know what changed and what we are talking about. It's very important that these are two different realities. Immigration law and citizenship are not the same thing. So one suffered a major restructure, and this is the one that you've been hearing in the news and all the commotion, and the nationality, which is changing the time and the period counting for the time to submission, but it's a different law, okay? It's very important that you are aware of these different changes. So you can also, as I'm speaking, me or my colleague, drop your questions in the comments. We will try to address them all. The ones that we are not able to address, we will do our best to afterwards or reach out to you or send in written the answer to your question. So drop everything that you need. Just put it in the comments. So the new amendments of the immigration law, so this is what we are covering now, were published in October 22, 2025, and entered into force the following day, so on the 23rd of this month. According to the government, these new laws aim to create a more sensitive and structured model of the legal immigration, and they aim to straighten and control the migration flows and attract qualified talent. Equally, it increases requirements for lower skilled migrants and imposes stricter conditions for family reunification and the continued stay. My colleague Laura, if his computer is now fully working, will quickly do an overview of these changes while I'll address some of your questions in the comments, and then I'll get back with comments on the nationality law and the citizenship requests that you might have. Laura, I don't know if you can join.
Oh, yes, it's proper.
Sound.
Thanks for the introduction, Katja, and it's precisely as you mentioned, we have been several changes nowadays in sequential news regarding that, and we face a whirlwind to distinguish between the difference between each of them.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me? It is working. I believe it is. Oh, okay, we can. Okay, thank you guys for the feedback. So basically, we are hearing lots of news, and it's important to distinguish between them so we can further clarify and better understand the difference between either the immigration law and the nationality law, as Katja mentioned. Okay, of course, one is very linked to another one, but it's important to understand that they are very distinct. And let's face right now a better approach regarding the immigration law, and then we will overview regarding the nationality that is even more recent. Okay, so regarding the immigration law, as Katja mentioned, and the first main impressions regarding that is that for the golden visa applications, it's in general remains the same. Okay, I will further explain in details, but the first thing to have in mind is that. But going in more details in topics for the key changed aspects will be, first one, the creation of the qualified job search visa. We had before the option for those who wanted to seek for job opportunities to apply to the job seeker visa instead, and different to the work visa itself. So you didn't have a job yet, or even the proposal, you came here to Portugal in order to approach and obtain that. So as of now, it changed by basically only for high qualified professionals into that scope. Okay, that's part of the restructure of the framework for the immigrational details as the intention of the government goes and falls into this scope. Okay, so basically, this visa may be granted to, in specific to the highly qualified professionals, and will allow the applicant to entry and stay for up to 120 days to seek for this job. And if not, by the end of that time, it is needed to return to the origin country and ask for that in a timely manner again. Okay, so it's a specific thing, but it's very asked as well for this regard. So besides of that, and more practical consequence, because this is more an overview and not very approached for the golden visa, just clarifying a few points regarding that. In practical consequences about that, and resuming this key aspect, the job search visa will no longer be accessible to basically all and most candidates as it was before, and it's now specific for qualified workers. Okay, the Portuguese consulates, due to that changes, has already even canceled appointments for the former visas, and will only issue the new type once regulations define eligibility occupations, which will better be regulated and specified by the government entities, okay, which is considered the high qualified workers and so basically that's the main aspect regarding this job search visa, that in terms of changes. Okay, so going for the second key aspect regarding the immigration law changes, new rules for the CPLP citizens, which is the Portuguese native speaker community, that we, to simplify, and is very commonly known as CPLP. Okay, so in this context, the CPLP changed and will only be able to obtain the temporary residence permit, or the specific one, as namely, if they already hold a residence visa before, which is basically the traditional and the way that is how it's supposed to go. Okay, how is the proper and traditional ways to obtain the residence permit, by first applying to a visa and then obtain the residence permit. And now they have strictened and make this to be enforced even for the CPLP citizens. Okay, in practical terms, always to make more palpable the changes, they can no longer regularize their status via a specific IMA portal that was implemented specifically for them to obtain the permit, even exempted for the visa, and now they needed to go for the traditional ways, request the visa as and align it to the government intentions to all of this restructure of the immigration law. Okay, so third item, family reunification, and this is a more important item in my perspective that has been very searched for our clients as well. The main key aspect, and here to understand and highlighting again, this is not applicable for the golden visa applications, because there is a specific exemption in the law that is saying basically this does not allow specifically as it is in this context for the golden visa, because it's a different regime and they have this exemption for that context. Okay, so for non-golden visa, what has been changing specifically in more details? First, the minimum residence period, and this is the most important part of that. It is now required for the family reunification to have spent at least 2 years of legal residence at the country in order to apply for that. So this may face some restrictions to applicants, and for those who are already living in here need to wait for that period before applying to the family reunification. Again, not for golden visa applications. Okay, we have an exception for that, that is basically for a spousal partner. That timeline requirement drops to 15 months if the couple, and in this context, has cohabitated for at least 18 months in the immediate period before that. Okay, so it's a facilitation for this framework as well. We still have, and being enforced, the housing and resources requiring proof of accommodation as is usually required, but strengthened by the law structure in this regard. And we will be also having more longer deadlines in order to that. IMA has extended to 9 months to decide on reunification requests. And it will be extendable in exceptional case, of course, but previously to that, the deadline was set at 3 months, basically. So in practical consequences in the overview regarding that, this means that, and again, not applicable to golden visas, the family reunification becomes more slow and more bureaucratic, but more regulated in this sense as well. So applicants must evidence housing, income, and integration, and for the couples in a civil partnership, in practical terms of living, which we know as de facto union, must prove as well the stable relationship in order to apply for that, okay? And the training and subsistence requirements reduce access for families with fewer resources and lengthen timelines due to all of that changes as well, okay? Going for the 4 important items regarding that. We have also the attention in the changes of law stating the transitional provision for those who are in the middle of this process, basically. So it was set a transitional period of 180 days. This means that holders of residence permits for either employed or self-employed works who met those criteria can convert, if wanted to, into residence for other purposes, such as for the teaching, the highly qualified, or the cultural activity. Okay. In the same period, those entitled to family reunification may also request residence under the former regime. So they have this attention in this regard for those who are in the middle of the process. And this means, in practical terms, that there's a limited window for converting the permits and request the family reunification for those who still wants to apply under the old rules, okay? After this period, all new regulations should be enforced, and then you need to comply with the new rules, basically, okay? The 5th item, overall impact and final considerations. So basically, a select of important key aspects regarding that is, first of all, kind of a talent selection for the scope of the intentions of the government, as mentioned. They basically replaced the generic job search visa for these high qualified professional, aiming to attract more technical skills in the interest of the government and in the economic terms itself, and reduce applications unconnected to the labor market. Lower skills workers who previously relied on the manifestation of interest or the generic job search visa must consider alternatives, as we mentioned. So they have treated them very much in this area, aligned to all of this framework intended, okay? This also means, of course, more control and bureaucracy regarding that, and also aligned in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation. They want to enforce and make more attractive for these paths and roads for these technical and more qualified intentions and road. And in short, this new law that has passed for this immigration law, the law 61/2025, tightens entry and stay rules and prioritize qualified immigration. Foreign nationals already in Portugal should pay attention to the transitional rules, as we mentioned, for this transitional period, in order to have their process regularized, while new applicants must plan accordingly for applying for the appropriate visa in complying with all these new terms of the law, okay? Okay, now specifically regarding the impacts of these changes on the golden visa. I even have been mentioning about that, as most are interested precisely on that, but revisiting and being a more important key aspect for this talk. So basically, despite the extent of the reform, no immediate changes are expected for the golden visa program. This is very important, and I need to re-mention that in order to be very transparent and clear about that, okay? Most measures will require further regulation before entering effect, meaning current and prospective investors can proceed with confidence. So basically, it's still solid grounds for the golden visa, and that's the main importance, and the government is aware, and their intentions is to make this insuredly and transparent for the golden visa program, as it has been since the start of the program. So what do we need to know about that? Okay, sorry about that. All right, what we need to know about that in the context of the renewal? I think just my face has blurred up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're so pretty.
Not sure why, but I'll proceed then.
Yeah, just keep going.
The residence permit renewals, the end of automatic extensions, and IMA clarification. We have been facing several changes on how we work the framework for the renewals for the Golden Visa applications, and we have been through good news recently on that, even though it is not anymore possible, the online renewal in the previous terms that we knew. In some cases, it was applied. They announced it, and it is working, and even very well, a new platform dedicated for us as lawyers to apply for the renewal, requesting the appointment. And basically, in most of the cases, if you are compliant and so, based on which have you already attended and collected our biometric data properly, you won't even need to attend in person to have your residence permits renewed. So basically, our clients has been contacted us or the other way. As soon as we identify that at the proper time for the renewal, we make the request by this proper and accredited online platform for IMA, and we request the appointment for the renewal. And as I mentioned, most of the cases is not even necessary for the client to attend. We can do all of the work for and on behalf of our clients. Okay, so if you are still pending your card renewal, please let us know immediately, because it's also important to know that all that period of automatic extensions that has been enforced since basically 5 years ago, it is now over. And the precise intention for the IMA is, as it is now properly working this new procedure, they extended these consecutive renewals in order for you to apply itself and not anymore automatically. Okay, so that's why it's important to know, if you are still pending the renewal, please let us know. It will be handling and assisting you in that. Okay. Item 2, simplified renewal through digital platform portals. As I mentioned, it is now possible doing for that, and that's linked to the reason why they ended the automatic extensions. Okay, so basically, we can renew the residence permits online without even the need for the visiting in person for IMA offices, as we can do that on your behalf. All right, and it's important to know, and we have been contacted by several clients to understand that this online platform that has been implemented, it's designed to be used by legal accredited professionals, by lawyers, and it is only accepting renewal requests in this way. Okay, so this is not the previously online renewal process, and it needs to us to enter the accredited and proper information and a request for your renewal. So item 3, not sure what happened right now. Again, having some technical errors today, but Katja, can you go for the other slide, please?
We are as IMA is.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
I'm sorry. Here it is.
So item 3, clarification on the validity of residence rights after card expiry. So we have several clients that was in this process for the renewal, and the validity time was coming, and we have accompanied with IMA, and they have clarified that a foreign citizen right of the residency remains valid for up to 6 months after the expiration date. So if your card expired today, as we have several situations like that, even considering the end of the extension for the validity in this month, it's still valid to request for the renewal, and you can still recover and make this moving forward in order to properly renew up to 6 months after the end of the validity of your residence permit. Okay, so for a reference date, to make even more practical terms to identify, for card expired on or before 13 June of this year. The 6 months period begins on 15 October because this was the end of the automatic extension period, meaning that this right of the residency renewal remains valid until 15 April 2026, okay? Just exactly applying this rule that I just mentioned, okay? For cards that are expiring after 30 June 2025, the 6-month period begins on the card expiry date, all right? And item 4, for those who have already submitted a renewal request, we have been assisting several clients in this way, and already initiated the renewal, it must keep their expired residence permit card and the proof of submission. Both remain valid while the renewal is under review, okay? And it's basically, we'll move forward until completing the renewal process itself and obtaining the newly issued residence permit, okay? I will now pass for Katja to better explain regarding now properly the nationality law, as we have now already discussed about the immigration law. Thank you.
Yes, just finishing answering one question. This is not the most friendly based chat, so it's very difficult, but don't worry if we miss something of these questions. I have a colleague present that it's taking all of them, and even the ones that I already answered. I will have like a script. We will send you this session, this recorded session, the PowerPoint, and the answers to the questions that you submitted. So I see that no. When I was saying, it's very important that you understand that these are two separate laws. I see in the comments that still it's a misconception, because we are talking about the nationality law. That there's nothing to do with the immigration, what we call immigration law. These are different. So you submit, you come to Portugal, or you don't come to Portugal, you make your investment and you submit your golden visa or whatever visa. The law you are applying under is the first one that we were covering, okay? So not the nationality, it's the first one, immigration law. So until you become eligible for the nationality and you submit your nationality process, you are only covered by the first one. So all the changes that are doing on the second one will apply to you if you have not submitted your process already. But I'll do a quick overview and I'll go through what we know and what is happening. So we had a first vote. They approved some of the changes, and we had a second vote where the parliament approved the majority of the changes that we already knew were under discussion. So we are in contact, of course, with other offices. I would say every major or small office in Portugal that does immigration is in contact. We are putting aside everything and focusing on the clients, so we can do a class action or whatever it is the best course of action to act on your behalf. We've been talking with ministers, we've been talking with everybody, but the thing is, at this point, what is truly under discussion, and when you see they can send the law to the Constitutional Court, yes, they can, but the 10 years is not under discussion anymore. So the 10 years is a certainty. The period of time, the way they count the time, it's also a certainty. What they are talking about is It's missing a preemption period, and they are talking about the possibility of losing the citizenship if you commit a crime. So these are the points that can be discussed. Of course, I think that the major problem with this enforcement when it comes to force is that they don't have a grace period or something. It was proposed like 6 months for the people who already have the 5 years and are complying with the current rules. But this was dismissed because it would create even bigger backlog. So that's why they don't put the grace period. Of course, we will do everything to try and secure the rights of our clients. Of course, it's very different if you submitted your process 1 month ago or 5 years ago. Yes, we need to go one by one over the processes. So we will do that, and I will get to that. So let me do a quick overview of this nationality law and what is really at stake. So I've seen recently, I had clients sending me news saying Portugal makes it harder for Americans or for Brazilians to obtain citizenship or to obtain nationality. And these amendments have nothing to do with those nationalities or with Americans or with Brazilians or with anybody. The thing is, European Union was pressuring the countries to extend the periods in which the applicants become eligible for the citizenship. That's why all the European countries have been upping the time. So it's not an immediate, of course, we in Portugal have a big backlog, and they used it as some kind of protest, but that was not the point. The point is 5 years was way too low, according with the European Union. Also, the starting count, the period start counting on the payment of the government fee. They always said that was a provisory measure to help end the backlog, because always was when the card was issued. But the backlog was so big and so great, they changed the law, so it started counting when you submit the process. But they always said that this was meant only until the backlog was managed somehow. So we knew this was temporary. Of course, this always creates expectations. This always creates some kind of off topic, but we are doing what we can. That's, I don't know how to say this, but I have lots of clients saying, why are you not fighting for us? That's what I do when I wake up in the middle of the night and go see the news, talk with other colleagues. What can we do? We are doing everything that we can. What was approved was the minimum period of residence for the Portuguese-speaking countries increased from 5 years to 7 years, and also to the European Union countries. And for the other ones, it's going up for 10 years. They also are, we don't know how this is still going to be, but proof of integration will become mandatory, some kind of proof or some kind of test of the Portuguese language as is, and also culture, history, and national symbols. Don't ask me how this is going to be, because we still don't know if they will enforce it and how. What I was talking about, this is one of the measures that is under the discussion, the exclusion for criminal record. So the text says that naturalization for those with criminal record convictions or imprisonment equal or greater to 2 years cannot apply to citizenship. And if commits a crime, also the possibility of losing the nationality that did not happen before. Means of subsistence are being requested already, so this is just a matter of putting in the law what is already in place. Children of foreign nationals born in Portugal will no longer be automatically eligible if the parents are in a regular situation. The counting periods, that, as all of you know, it's the one that is already changing. And the entry into force without a transitional period, it's still in discussion, and we hopefully see some action from the president or the constitutional court on this one. So the impacts right now for you. We are waiting on the law, so we cannot do anything until the law is passed. We cannot go, and lots of you are saying, so is not I'm accountable for the time that we lost. The government is not accountable for everything that they did to us. Of course it is, but we can only act after the law is passed. Okay, so what we are doing now is, first, if you already have the 5 years and the Portuguese test, that's very important, please contact us so we can submit as soon as possible your citizenship application. If you are missing one or two documents, don't worry, we'll go over everything with you. The important part is you already have the Portuguese test and or certificate, and completed the 5 years of residency. If you don't submit until the law changes, you will automatically be under the new law and will need to comply with whatever new requirements they will enforce. Like some of you pointed out, some parties requested that they have some kind of grace periods and protect the ones that are already in the system. Although these are two different regimes, the residency and the citizenship, maybe try to find here a common ground so they could be protected somehow from those expectations, but from the latest changes that we saw approved, none of those information were submitting there, so we are not expecting to be a grace period, but still you don't have a retroactivity, so everybody that is already submitted and complies with the 5 years and the current rules are in principle safe. So when we say that the applicants already submitted are safe, are the applicants for the citizenship, not the residency, because residency, it's a way to get eventually citizenship. So it's not the same process, and you are not protected by the new law that it's being enforced. So what measures are we adopting? Since we know that sooner or later this will pass, and we will not like the result, I already personally took a list of all the clients that we submitted, and we are going one by one to see when you were to become eligible for the citizenship. So we will review every client's application and send you an email with an overall information of your process and what are your next steps and your options. In very short, we have the class action, which we are intending to file, and we have the individual claim against the Portuguese government so you can enforce your rights. And this one, I think personally, is the one that is going to make the most sense. We recommend that you do both. Why? Because the class actions are very good and very useful to demonstrate the unity and the strength of the lawyers in wanting the law changed and to have some kind of certainty assured. But this is always analyzed in general terms, so not case by case. And it's very different a person that submitted the process 1 month ago from someone that is already, as most of you are, 2 or 3 or 4 years in the process and would become in the early 2026 eligible for citizenship. So that's why I think we can only fully protect your individual interests by submitting an individual action. But of course, this will be at your discretion. We will review, like I said, all the applications and contact you individually. However, if you wish to begin right away and have everything ready to submit as soon as anything is approved, let me know. I will put your process on top of the others, and I say on top because we will go through all of them. But of course, if some of you have already decided that this is the path you want to go, just let me know, and we will move forward. So me and Laura have been trying to answer all your questions. And like I said, it's very difficult for us to answer them here. But we will review everyone and every one of them so that we can answer most of you. And I know the questions are all the same. So I wish I could tell you I have some magical way of doing things differently, and that I agree with what they're doing, but I don't agree. As you can imagine, I have 4,000 hungry clients, not with me, of course, but with the situation. It's very difficult to manage. We can only wait at this point and wait what will be the result of all this commotion, and note that the law already passed and approved. It's the immigration law. It does not affect golden visas, okay? Golden visas, high qualified and professors, if I'm not mistaken. So all the other ones, I saw some questions on D7s. Everybody that already is in Portugal or already has the visa, I'm not talking about golden visas, I'm talking the other types of visas, is protected, and you can regroup your family. For the ones that are thinking only submitting now the process, D-types visas, you will need to comply with the rules for the family reunification. So you cannot come with your spouse freely as you did before this law come into force. You need to contact a lawyer, see if you comply with the new rules, and then proceed and go from there. So I would say we are doing our best to keep everybody informed. Please refrain from believing all the news that are passing, because some of them are just out of context and very target, very clickbait, and need to be contextualized. Feel free to reach to me. I will do my best to answer your question, but at this point we need to wait and see what comes out of this. When they approve something and comes into force, we'll go after them. Now we are doing what we can to make them change their minds, but I don't see, in fully honest, fully honestly, I don't see a way of this law not being passed in the upcoming months. So that's it. I see I have a lot of questions. I can go through them all. If someone has something to request that we have not covered in this session, let us know. I know some of you are waiting for a lot of time for the cards, for the appointments. For the appointments, the good news is that they are coming. So just bear with us, because probably within 1 or 2 days you can see that you have an appointment. The cards are a little bit more tricky because they are working in phases. So first they did the renewals, okay? The renewals are very important. I know that my colleague went through this, but you were focused on the nationality law. So please, if your card is already expired and you still not requested the renewal of the card, contact us, because we have 6 months to renew your card. It's very important. And I think from our side, that's all we have to cover. Laura, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
All right, thank you. I have been trying to answer the most questions as possible in this meantime, but we will review them properly as well, because we have lots of them to cover in this time. But we review every of them, and if you have any further questions, please let us know. We understand all of these concerns. We are aware of this sequence of changes at the law, and we understand the concerns that arise from that. And as Katja told, we are doing our best to follow up on that and defend your interest. Okay, so please, if you are, and our intention for this webinar is exactly to enlighten some aspects on that, and upon that, we will be following up on your specific case and details, and we will be beating up and assist you for the most strategic and best course of action, okay? Either regarding the renewal, the new applications, but most of you in this current already process ongoing, okay? So we'll be also maintain publishing for the news as soon as we know them. We are daily basis following up on every of that, okay? So I know we'll be covering several questions from here, so please, if you have anything, just let us know. Be glad to assist you, okay? We have, of course, all of our
They
contact.
need the walnut to change. Unfortunately, we can do that. But yeah, just bear with us. Place your questions. I'm giving it 1 or 2 more minutes so you can finish writing all your questions. I saw in the Roland something requesting about the residency cards. As I said, they are working in stages. They started by the renewals. They are now releasing the appointments, hundreds of appointments, and hopefully the cards are the next step. But if you are waiting over a year, let us know. What we do normally is that emails don't work anymore. If we go there in person, they dismiss us. So what we do is we file a formal request, and in that event, they are forced to look at them. So, but we can ask on your behalf. What we do, we have like a list of clients every time we go to IMA. They know us already, of course. And they say, hey, are you going to ask about the same thing? Because my answer is the same. Yes, I know your answer is the same, but please. That's what we do every time we go there. So hopefully things will get straightened out, and everything will go well. I see that no one is writing, so if you have any final questions, please file it now. If you don't, of course, you have our emails and drop us an email. We will be happy to answer you. Thank you so much for your time, for your patience, and we're doing our best, and we'll keep doing our best to ensure at least that you have your rights settled as we go forward. Thank you very much for working with us, for your patience, and on behalf of Kayak Guerreiro, thank you so much to you all.
Have a nice day.